Hi there. My name's Yionoulis, and I am the host of the brand new podcast, Empire Builders, scaling success one location at a time. This is a podcast dedicated to talking to the founders and the current leadership of those large multi-location brands that you see every single day where you eat and shop at. And we want to find out from these guys, why this business, right? Why of all the things you could do in the world, you chose to do this? We're going to learn what their challenges were at the beginning, what almost broke them. We're going to learn what they're facing today. And as always, we're going to end the show with a wonderful war story. That's one of those stories where you go, I can't believe we got through this. It was insanity, and hopefully they always end with a nice little laugh. So I can't tell you how excited I am to bring you these interviews with these amazing guests and just stoke that entrepreneurial flame that we all have to learn what it took to kind of get where they are today and how they got successful. So thank you for joining us, and I look forward to sharing these wonderful interviews with you. Hey there, Empire Builders. It's Yionoulis back with another episode of our favorite show, The Empire Builders, where we talk to people who are starting their empires or running empires. We're talking to entrepreneurs who are building businesses. And I just want to welcome my guest today, Allison Welch. Allison, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. We're going to have a great time today on the show. It's super easy. Mainly what we're doing, so we do kind of the same format every time. I ask the same 5 questions of all my guests, and then we have a nice conversation. And so the first question for you today, Allison, is tell us what your job is and tell us a little bit about your company.
Sure. I am the CEO and founder of a company called As You Wish Lifestyle. We are an on-demand a la carte personal assistant and event planning company. My previous job before I started my business 14 years ago, I was a personal assistant for an athlete. Then after that, I was an event coordinator and assistant for a family on the Upper East Side of New York City who had homes in the Hamptons and Aspen. So instead of having that full-time assistant and help and household manager, really created this company that allows everyone, who's busy families, executives, athletes to give us a call, and we're hourly only. So whatever we can do to help them save some time in their life is what our goal is.
So then what kind of requests are you getting?
Sure. We get everything from, I'm moving, can you guys help us pack the boxes, get organized, hire movers, maybe hire a handyman if, they need things done around the house, and then we'll go ahead and move them. And then we will also unpack them and organize them. So we get a lot of relocations. People are just working or on vacation or just don't want to do it. We can help them out. We get the everyday, errand running, can you bring the dry cleaning? I have Amazon returns, grocery shopping, or maybe it's coming over to the house and just organizing some closets, some garages, whatever they may need. And they may need us for 3 hours that week, and we may not hear from them again for another month. It really just depends. We get really busy around the holidays. Starting in October, we help decorate homes for Halloween, get them set up, do some Halloween parties. And then as soon as November hits, it seems that we're setting up Christmas trees and start shopping for Christmas, wrapping gifts, getting those photos taken for your annual card to go out. So really anything to save our clients time is how we can be most helpful.
And then do you have multiple locations? Do you have multiple people doing this?
Yeah. So our Denver office, we started in Denver, like I said, 14 years ago in 2010. And we have a team of 8 in our office here in Cherry Creek. And then we just started franchising this year. So the notion was our team, our lifestyle coordinators, we were constantly traveling to different cities, either move someone or go open someone's house in Palm Springs or their second house in Vail or, Scottsdale, whatever the case may be. And it was hard finding vendors and people to really help us out, so we created the franchise model now. And we have since sold South Denver. So sort of in your neck of the woods, Douglas County area. Yep. And then Boulder County just sold. So they are up and running. They're about to move kids for CU back into school, get them situated. And then our next one is slated to sell in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow.
So we're super excited. Yeah. So we're growing. I'm learning a lot, and just taking our small, company that's been in Denver to really making it corporate and really franchisable.
Now, did you have to get an FDD and do all that kind of stuff? Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We did that last year, sort of all that, working with the attorneys and consultants and coaches to get the FDD together. So we renewed it again this January. So yeah, we're in the world now of franchising. It's new and exciting. It's really crazy.
Who is your primary sort of franchisee? Is it somebody who's doing this today, or is it somebody looking to build their own sort of home-based business? Or
Yeah, great question. We're really finding the most interest in folks around the country where they may want to start their own business, or maybe they've been a full-time house manager, or maybe they've done organizing, but they don't really have the tools or want to start a business on their own from scratch and, come up with the logo and the website and the PR and the marketing and, all the things. So we trademarked our name As You Wish, I think about 8 years ago. So, they can use that as well. When they sign on with us, they get all of our systems, they get all of our marketing, social media. So we really want to set them up for success as soon as they start with us.
Well, so at this point, are you just managing the sort of the franchise business and letting other people do the actual task stuff? Is that what?
Sure. Yeah. Yes. But I still love it. It's what I've always done. And, it's July and we've had a couple people off. So last week we had a huge move and I helped out. So it was great to be with the team and work with them because they get to see each other every day. Typically they're on projects together. So it was really fun to be with them. But yeah, the other side of the business is obviously still making sure that Denver is up and running and happy. And, we're working with our franchise team to continue to grow. So wearing a few hats right now.
Oh, that's crazy. That's cool. Yeah, I was a concierge at a mall in Los Angeles in 2002.
Okay.
And we actually won a Wall Street Journal award for non-traditional concierge.
Yeah.
Time. It was called the Grove in Los Angeles. It's in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I know the Grove. Yeah, that's awesome.
We started that. I was one of the original openers of that mall, and it was crazy because most people came to us because they get free parking, right? That was just why we had that desk there. But then I was meeting Quentin Tarantino and Tom Hanks and all these people because they would have movies there, or trying to get Kobe to be able to do baby shopping before his kid was born, and he's getting slammed because they had just won the NBA championship and we had to escort him out the back. It was crazy. It was a interesting little place to do that in. But I always loved that whole concierge business. I thought it was great.
Yeah, we've been members of the Colorado Concierge since we've started, but we're really kind of the only niche, lifestyle company, if you will. The rest are more hoteliers and restaurants, which is great because we can send our clients there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that is question number one.
Great.
Why this business? How did you get into this? Why did you decide to take what is generally, how did you decide to take this into becoming a franchise?
Sure. I think the two roles that I had before I started As You Wish, working for an athlete, Roger Staubach, he owned a commercial real estate company since bought by Jones Lang. But, I worked with him and his team, and it was really catering to sort of higher net worth executives, making sure that they were happy. We would take them on trips, wine and dine them, really that hospitality level so that they would stay our clients. We wanted to retain clients. So started there. And then I worked for an interior designer by the name of Charlotte Moss, who's amazing. She's still a client and a friend of ours today. But, she had a very expansive interior design business. She's very philanthropic. She and her husband, and especially in New York City area, hosted a lot of fabulous events. So it was great being that personal assistant event coordinator with their family for 3 years, traveling with them everywhere. It was just that notion, still in my 20s, I want to do something else. What's in for me? So sort of grabbed everything that I learned from those first two jobs and really, like I said, this notion, not everyone needs that full-time assistant, but really, if you're busy, Tommy, and you call it's my wife's birthday tomorrow. I totally forgot. I need something unique and creative. Give us the budget. Let us do it. Let us wrap it. You sign the card and everyone looks great. So having, we love it. Every day is really different. So that's really fun for us. We're never behind a desk. Our team seems to enjoy that. They're out and about, they're meeting vendors, they're networking, or they're, helping our clients, which brings us satisfaction as well.
That's awesome. So that's how you got into it. What were some of the challenges? Question number 3. What were some of the challenges that you had when you first started?
When I first started in 2010, we were coming out of a recession. So it wasn't the best time, monetarily, if people, this is for folks who have more expendable income and can, need our help. But that was a little bit of a struggle. But once we got in the routine, and once you're in a neighborhood or a community and it's really word of mouth, people are like, oh, wow, how did you do all that? Or who put your son's birthday together? Or, whatever the case was. I would say that was somewhat of a challenge. And then at first, it was just me. So it was running and hustling during the week and then doing events or little birthdays on the weekends. So I was pretty, dragged in a few different directions.
Sure.
And I would say, going forward, a challenge, and I think a lot of companies face, is just having the right people. Finding those unicorns that have that hospitality level, that love to serve people, and that, are really polished and pay attention to those details, and also have a great sense of confidentiality. That's very important to our clients. We're in and out of their homes. Sometimes they don't even want people to know that they do have an assistant helping them out.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So then, okay, so now you have this new hat, you're starting this franchise company. What are some of your challenges today to grow this business?
Yeah, I think as well, who we hire to be on our team. We've interviewed a lot of brokers to sell the franchises, a lot of consultants to work with us, PR companies, marketing companies. We have found, it's just building that right team, and I think working with folks that have been in the franchise space has been most beneficial because it is such a niche, as expanding of a business. They really know what they're doing. So really partnering with folks that can educate us. But I would say that's probably been a challenge, just finding the right fit, not everyone, and that understands our business and how to really sell it and market it the best way.
Yeah, totally. So what is your plan, I guess, for the franchise? Like, how many do you think you want to have? One in every major city, or is that your goal? Or
yeah, we'd love to, get there, within the next 5 years. We hope to sell up to 45 units. So that would be, 45 cities across the country that could use our services, whether it be, in Scottsdale, that'll be a great market. Austin will be a great market. DC, so really pinpointing, cities that we feel that will, really need and use our services.
Well, and I guess too, with your business, it's not a brick and mortar, right? It's not like one of the big problems that, like, for instance, like just as other franchises, Subway had, where they would overdevelop an area with Subways. And so, like in Highlands Ranch, at one point we had 4 or 5 Subways all within like 2 to 3 miles of my house. And now I think we have 2 left.
Right.
But every time they opened another Subway, it cut the sales of all the other Subways in the area, right? But you don't really have to experience that because yours is so much more a relationship business.
Exactly.
So you have trade areas, like you don't want to have 50 people all in Douglas County, but you might be able to support 5 concierges in Douglas County because it's all relationship based.
Exactly. And our FDD stands as though we map it out via zip code.
Yep.
So, no one can, Douglas County, those are all her folks, her clients. If they call me, I just introduce them to them,
Yep.
So yeah, to your point, you want to make sure that they have enough room to work.
Yeah. But also too, it's like, depending on the population density, you could have zip codes that are very.
Yeah. Great point. We just had a gentleman call us from Bozeman, but he lived in Helena in Montana. And do you know how much we just did his territory? And it's like vast. So, we're explaining you need to have a lifestyle coordinator in 2 cities. You have to, because, drive time and errands, you just can't be all over the world, so we're learning on that too, what makes sense in those larger areas.
For sure. Yeah. I've been to all that part of Montana. Those are hours apart. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So, and then do they have the population to sustain a successful business of ours up there? It may be too small. It may not be a good fit.
Sure.
So,
do you guys use some of these other services? Like, do you guys, so let's say, would you get on DoorDash or Uber and be like, hey, I need this bottle, go pick this up and drive it over there? Or are your people generally going to go pick it up and drive it themselves?
Yeah, we do that. Yep. So we'll do it. We're a much more like personalized touch. Our clients actually speak to us or, text us or, whatnot. Especially if you're grocery shopping, for example, I have clients like, oh, I'll go to Instacart or something. And then they immediately come back to us and they're like, they did the wrong substitutes. The produce was bad. They didn't go to another store because Target doesn't have the same thing as Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. Yeah. So we're often in touch with the clients. So that's why it's very personalized and it's not an app. Yeah.
Now, are a lot of your people building like, so like, for instance, you said you had 8 people in the Denver office. So you needed 8 people to go do some of this groundwork.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And we have a lot of clients that are just weekly that want someone to check in weekly. Here's my list, and just making sure that the lifestyle coordinators with their client every week, they know each other very deeply. And, I may not get involved with that at all. It's their client, but our team knows that every client of ours, we treat as like our own boss,
Sure.
Their individual boss.
That makes complete sense. So I'm trying to think of any other. So I'm curious too, like what kind of systems do you use then? Like, how are you managing all these like to-do lists? Like, do you use anything in particular?
Yeah, we have a software app that we use. It's a home-based app. It works for scheduling. It works for invoicing, and it works so that the whole team can see each other's calendar. And then within that, we have our client's proprietary information. Sure. So keeps everything secure, but we all know, if someone's sick, that they could look up the client and say, oh, I know their gate code or security or whatever the case may be. So keeping everything centralized for every different city is how we're doing that.
And then if I buy into the franchise, I get that list.
Absolutely.
And then when they call in and request, so do they request by texting? Do they request by going online, or do they just call up and go, hey, I need this?
Yeah. All of the above. Our website, asyouwishlifestyle.com, there's a fill-in form for any city, or they can call me or my operations manager in Denver. It just depends, whatever's easy for the client. They email sometimes, or they just text. So we get it in all forms.
So then do you transfer that into a task management system so everybody can see that it's been done or not done?
Exactly. Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So we kind of busted through this really quick, which is wonderful. Let's go to the war story time. So as everybody knows, the war story is just one of those situations that you've encountered where it was just, oh my God, I can't believe, how did we get through this type of scenario? They're my favorite part of the show. So hit me with a war story.
Oh boy. Oh, where do I start? No, I'm just kidding. Not one, exactly stands out, but I would say, I guess when things, I would say relocating is extremely stressful for clients, first and foremost. So having us guide the schedule and manage it and, hold the vendors accountable for what they're doing is super important to us. But there are times where things just go awry. And, so we did have one of our move trucks, this was 3 or 4 years ago, got in a car accident. And a lot of the furniture was damaged and a lot of the things in the boxes broke. So it was just one of those poor situations. It wasn't the mover's fault at all. We've used the same mover for over a decade. But, it did happen. We had to pivot. We both stepped in. We luckily take photos before we do any move, so we know what's in there, what's categorized, and where it's going in the new home. So it was coming up with, insurance for the mover and myself. So it goes back to having great vendors that you know and trust. Honestly, if it was just someone I never worked with, it might have been a bigger disaster. Luckily, the client understood it, and, we made do and got, we worked with some great furniture repair folks and ordered we had to order all new dishware. We had to even source some salt and pepper shakers from Italy that were important to the client. So things happen and you have to pivot. And I just say to my team, just be positive. Just flow with it. We're not performing heart surgery here. We're trying to make people's lifestyle a little bit more at ease. So life will go on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you're right. Moving is the worst.
Yeah.
And so, and I will tell you, just as a plug, and I don't think that my mom moved from like her place into Windcrest, and they had a group that they recommended at the time, and I don't remember who they were. They came down and packed my mom and unpacked her, and they did that in the course of 2 days. They packed her up one day, it all went into the moving truck, and the next day. And I mean, I think at the time we maybe spent like $1,800 to do this, and this is probably like, I don't know, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, I literally would say that was the best $1,800 that we would have ever spent in our entire lives, because it was so easy, especially when you're a senior citizen, you're in your late 70s, you can't be lifting boxes and moving stuff around.
Yeah, we just moved someone into Balfour over here, and their kids, to your point, were like, we both work, we all have kids, or we live out of state, all the kids had something going on. And it's like, of course, like, let us be a resource for your family.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can afford these kinds of services, and having been a concierge myself and knowing how I'd help people, I would suggest hopefully look into this, because it literally is just like, you're going to spend money on all kinds of stuff in your life. But when you can spend money on something that actually reduces your stress, probably one of the better decisions you make.
Yeah. Your mental health, it's very important. Just help the stress level.
So do you want to plug your website real quick and just say, I know you said it a second ago, but so everybody can listen to it. What's your website?
Sure. It's asyouwishlifestyle.com.
Yep. And can you go there if you're interested in a franchise, as well as if you're interested in some services?
The franchise site is As You Wish Franchise.
There you go, guys. Well, Allison, thank you so much for being on the show today. And thank you so much to all of our listeners. And we'll be back with another interview soon.
Amazing. Thank you, Tommy.
You're so welcome. Take care.